Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Life of a Single Guy. This episode's going to be a little bit different. I just wanted to share with y'all some tips on how to get ready for tax season because it can be overwhelming and all that. And I know some of you don't want to get red flag for an audit. There's some suggestions because I'm a data entry person. I data entry information and tax returns for the tax preparer. And the tax preparer reviews, make sure everything's right and that I didn't miss anything. And they also have to call the client if the client is missing documents and so forth. So I'm not a tax preparer. I'm just an assistant, and this is some of the mistakes I see when I data entry tax returns and stuff. But I've done data entry for 10 years. But for any tax related questions, I suggest you contact a tax preparer or employee of the IRS or your accountant for that matter if they do tax returns. But anywho's, moving on. Just beware, I'm just a data entry person. And this is mistakes I've seen clients do when they drop off their work. But anywho's, as you all know, you've seen tons of commercials for tax preparation software or gotten flyers in the mail for coupons to get your taxes done. And it just gets all overwhelming. And I've seen clients forget to bring documents too. So with all this information, I kind of wanted to share how to get yourself organized for tax season so there's less questions by your tax preparer. So it's kind of a guide. First off, make sure you get all your sources of income documents together. Like, make sure you get all your W-2s for all the jobs you've worked, 1099s from any businesses, banks, or if you did any side gigs like DoorDash, Spark, and you earned over $600, they'll probably give you a 1099 for that. Or if you did some cleaning at a vacation rental, you'll probably get a 1099 from that. And make sure you include other sources of income too that were less than $600 as well, because you're responsible for reporting all income you earned last year to the IRS. Because I've been hearing that the IRS will be keeping an eye on what went in your bank accounts this year. But you don't have to include any gift money you received or any rebates as income. Don't report those as income. But you may want to keep a written record of that just in case you get audited and they know what it was. And the next step is to get all your deductible expenses together. This includes mortgage interest if you own a home, student loan interest if you had to pay a student loan, the total amount of money you contributed to a traditional IRA. If you contributed money to a traditional IRA, they won't allow you to deduct on a Roth IRA because traditional IRAs are before tax and Roth IRAs are after tax. And any charitable contributions you made, like you donated some money to a nonprofit organization or a church. And if you donate items to, let's say, a thrift store or something like that, and have a record of it, bring that with you, but make sure to write down what you donated and figure out, you can probably Google this online, what the thrift shop value for those items are. Because you can't do it based off of what you bought it for. No, you got to go with whatever the current thrift shop value is on that. But keep in mind, you may not be able to deduct those things on your tax return if the standard deduction is still more than the total amount of donations and deductible expenses you made. But you still may be able to get deductions for like the student loan interest in the traditional IRA. I suggest getting with your tax preparer on that. And if you had a business where you filed on your personal return, or any rental properties you report on your personal return, make sure you have the documents for your income and expenses together. Make sure you have all your 1099s for that business, all your other income that wasn't reported on a 1099 for those businesses, and deductible expenses together. It's a good idea to have like a profit and loss statement from like an accounting software platform such as QuickBooks or a spreadsheet. And for the expenses, make sure you have copies of the receipts just in case you get audited, because if you don't have a receipt, they may not let you take the deduction if you get audited. And if you take the home office deduction, make sure you have the dimensions of your office space and house. And your office space can't be more than your house or a majority of your house. And if you used a vehicle like you did DoorDash or Uber or Spark, make sure you have records on your mileage that you had for the whole year for business purposes. The next thing is, if you had insurance through the government, make sure you get a 1095A and make sure you put that with your tax documents, because that's got to be reported on your tax return if you got insurance through the government. And if you made any estimated tax payments, make sure you get a record of how much you paid and when you paid those. Get a record of that, because that can lower your tax bill. And always shop around for the best deal on tax preparations. Like if you just have W-2 income, interest income, and some minor deductions such as mortgage, interest, and student loans, it may be the best price to file with a tax software program such as TurboTax. If you bought and sold stocks, have your own business and or rental property, I suggest going with a bookkeeping firm that's not a CPA firm that deals with small businesses. It's probably going to be a lot cheaper than like going to H&R Block, and it's probably more reputable than H&R Block, because at some H&R Blocks they have people that haven't had much experience preparing taxes, whereas a bookkeeping firm should definitely go one that's had 10 plus years of experience preparing tax returns. And always read the reviews online as well of what people have said about that firm. But if you know you're going to owe a boatload of money and have a lot of profit you're going to pay taxes on, I suggest going with a CPA firm. It may be a little more expensive than a bookkeeping firm or H&R Block, but they may have loopholes that may save you more money, that may be worth paying more money to do. So you gotta be careful about that when these tax preparation places such as H&R Block and Liberty, they're probably gonna charge you more than a bookkeeping firm, because they're only open seasonally, and they got to pay rent in some of these locations year-round. So they got to make up for the money they got to spend on rent and utilities for the whole year. And the next thing is, if you choose to go with a bookkeeping or CPA firm, ask for a tax organizer. Because sometimes their tax organizer is going to have information you didn't even think of. And that'll help keep your taxes organized as well. Another thing to do is watch out for audit triggers. I suggest watching videos on YouTube of tax and IRS professionals sharing what common audit triggers there are. And you can also Google search it as well. One example is you reported a big loss for your business for several years. The IRS may see that more as a hobby and not a business, so they may not allow you to deduct those expenses on the return if you've had consistent losses over the past 5 years. Like every year has been a loss, they're going to question that. And also, do not email tax documents with your Social Security number on it, or if it has the tax, has the payer's Social Security number. Do not email it, because it can lead to identity theft and fraud. Like, don't email W-2s, don't email 1099s, and don't email other documents that may have your Social Security number on it. Because somebody could file a fraudulent return using that information. The best thing to do is send it through a secure portal or drop off the copies at the firm's office. But the final tip is, if you're having a tough time getting everything together and it's getting close to April 15th, make sure you get an extension filed for 6 months. This will help you from getting penalties for filing your return late, but you're still responsible for whatever taxes you owe. So make sure you make a payment for that. If you're not 100% sure what to do on that, ask a tax preparer or an IRS professional, or somebody that works for the IRS. But make sure to take care of getting your taxes done as soon as possible, so you're not waiting until April 15th to file the return, because if you wait till the last minute, it could lead to a lot of problems with errors and issues. And if there's errors and issues on your return, it may lead to a potential audit on your return. But if you don't 100% know something, ask a tax preparer or an IRS employee or an accountant. I'm doing this just to help y'all get ready for tax season, because it can be overwhelming. What are you going to do to get ready for tax season? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos every Monday and Wednesday. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a marvelous day.